Welcome to our special city council meeting, Boulder City. We will, Madam City Clerk, if you can confirm the posting and roll call, please.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The agenda was posted in conformance with Nevada open meeting law. Members present in the chamber are Mayor Joe Hardy, Councilwoman Sherry Jorgensen, Councilmember Steve Walton. On the phone, we have Councilmember Koki Booth, and Councilmember Matt Fox is absent today.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We will start with an announcement about public comment. Public comment, there are two parts. One is at the beginning of the meeting, and it will be limited, as will the other public comment, to 5 minutes per person. And the first public comment is always reserved for things on the agenda. There aren't many things on the agenda today. And public comment at the end will be to say whatever you feel, if you want to stick around that long, about what happened. So public comment will open public comment on the first part, anything to do with the agenda. So those who would like to say, and Madam City Clerk, do we have anybody on the line?
No one on the line at this time.
And do we have any written comments for public comment?
No written comments were submitted.
Thank you. So if you can identify yourself, sign in, and have up to 5 minutes.
Yes,
You can go shorter than that if you would like.
Well, good morning, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I'll try to go shorter, but I get paid by the word, like most attorneys. So we'll keep it as brief as I can, so long as the paycheck comes. My name is Nathan Ring, and I am General Counsel for Teamsters Local 14. Teamsters 14 represents a number of city bargaining units, I'm sure members of the council know. One of those units is this electrical unit, which we're here to discuss today. Teamsters Local 14 in the city worked in good faith to bargain this contract as well as several other contracts with the city. And I'm happy to say that the local and the city were able to reach agreement on all of those contracts except for this electrical unit. This electrical unit does present an interesting set of facts. You know, this is the only municipal-owned utility, electrical utility in Southern Nevada. But at the same time, the skills that all of these gentlemen in this bargaining unit have are skills that are marketable nationally, and certainly even in the local area. When you're looking at NV Energy, Par Electric, Summit Electric, any number of line contractors. And when you look at the Fact Finder's report, which is an exhibit for the hearing today, the Fact Finder was very clear about the market that will be upcoming. You know, energy in the Southwest is a hot topic of discussion, no pun intended, hot and high voltage. But these folks do work as electricians and can go anywhere to do that work. However, when you're looking at the state of Nevada in particular, the Greenlink project, which will be performed by NV Energy, which was required of it by the Nevada legislature, that's going to create thousands of jobs. The need for electrical workers is going to only increase as we look at energy and renewable projects. Things like the Inflation Reduction Act and the Infrastructure Act that were passed by the federal government and signed by the president a couple years ago will also create a greater need for electrical workers. That's why the Fact Finder focused on that information. The other thing that the Fact Finder focused on is the folks in this electrical unit are greatly underpaid compared to the people in the market now. And when you look at it, NV Energy pays more. The Western Line contractors pay more. These were comparable agreements that were put forward to the Fact Finder. And that's looking at wages and benefits. PERS is certainly a great benefit to these workers, and Local 14 recognized that, as did the Fact Finder. But at the same time, in the marketplace, fully paid employer retirements are commonplace for electrical line workers like those in this unit. So that PERS benefit, which you see in some other units as being a very great benefit, maybe not so much in the marketplace for these workers. Local 14 does intend to continue to work with the city on reaching a resolution to this. Obviously, the Fact Finder report was on all fours with the proposal that was made by the union in the most recent proposal that it made on the date of the fact-finding hearing. We think that that's an accurate representation of what the market should bear for these workers. They're not asking for any great, huge benefit above market value. All they're looking for is a fair market value, fair market wage for themselves. On a going forward basis, the union is continuing to negotiate with the city. There was a most recent proposal made by the city manager this week. It's going to be under consideration by the local. The local does intend to continue to bargain in good faith with the city, even up to the point of heading to arbitration on this. Absent acceptance of the fact finder's report, it is the local union's prerogative at this point to ask for binding arbitration under NRS 288, but that by no means means that negotiations are going to end. The union, as I said, is committed to working with the city, just as we did in these other contracts, to reach an agreement and a fair agreement that provides fair wages and benefits for these workers. And a number of the workers in the unit are behind me in their bright yellow vests today. I didn't wear bright yellow. It's not good with my skin tone, so unfortunately they look a lot better in it than I do. But I will close my comment and ask that the city council and the city manager understand where these workers are coming from and adopt the fact finder's recommendations and make that proposal in negotiations as we head towards and hopefully avoid an arbitration. So at this point, I'll turn it over to the members of the unit, and I thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Damon Butler. I'm the foreman of the electric division. Here we call it the senior electric lineman. Something I'd like to read in behalf of our shop this morning. We as an electric shop wanted to come to council respectfully and make sure firsthand that you know what your employees are feeling right now. We also want to get the understanding as to where our contract is with the city. Since our contract has ended, our upper management has had 2 raises, one in 2022 and one that has just recently been completed this past April. Our contract that has ended June 30th, 2022, almost 2 years without a contract. Our shop received a certificate of excellence in reliability, which states that the city of Boulder City has significantly exceeded the 5-year average for the U.S. Electrical Utilities and Reliability Electric Service. The utility participates in the American Public Powers Association's E-Reliability Tracker Service to track its power outages and restoration against normal benchmarks. Boulder City is a great small town, and we as electric division workers have come to love this city. Our electric workers wear many different hats and cover many jobs to help keep the lights on in our city. As the electric shop foreman, I can attest to you that the talent that is behind me and the knowledge that we have here in this department is second to none. Our shop has journeymen with over 15 to 30 years of experience in the utility industry and Boulder City's power, and knows Boulder City's power system like the back of our hands and what it takes to maintain and fix the issues that arise. I personally come to you this morning with 36 years of experience in this business, 27 years as a journeyman lineman, and over 20 years running crews in construction, maintenance, and restoration. Most of our guys have double the time as journeymen. As a department, we have had no lost time accidents ever that our management can recall. All we want is an electrical department is to be fair and competitive with the rate of the industry that is paying. We are not asking to be at the top or the bottom. We just want to be competitive. We used to be competitive with wages last contract, but since we have fallen significantly behind. The Las Vegas RJ Journal has stated in an article about our city manager from the councilwoman, Miss Booth, and I quote, "Increases are necessary because of the competitive market. My thought is you should pay somebody at the top of the scale when they're doing a good job because we don't want them going on to Henderson, Las Vegas, or to another area where the opportunity comes up she said. I think it's easier to keep them in this position if we are paying them for what they should be paid and what they deserve. I respect your guys' time, and I appreciate it. On behalf of the Electric Division, thank you much.
Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Frank Apisetti. I've been working in Boulder City 11 years and would like to finish my career here. I've been in the trade 32 years since 1992, 2 years in a trade school, 4 years in apprenticeship that I served with the IBW 769. The first time in my career, I've took a pay decrease of 1.8% due to PERS. As I was on the negotiating committee, in my mind, we have tried negotiating a fair contract, gave many different options with no results. We have had lineman positions open for 4 years that the city has not been able to do to wages and overtime, competitive with wages and overtime. Our positions have gone crazy over the past few years due to the demand of shortfall of people available in the industry, and predicted there will be even less in the trade in years ahead due to the high demand of electrical workers and retirees. Takes 4 to 5 years to do an apprenticeship, which is equal to a college degree. From the time you graduate, we call it journeying out. It takes 4 to 5 years to get the experience with all the different scenarios you can come across and put all your training to test. During negotiations, we were told, if you don't like it here, you can leave. And we've also been told, you're lucky to have a job. We're not here to point fingers who, what said what, but wanted the city council to be aware of it. The market today is tough to find journeymen, especially journeymen with decade of experience, and I don't think the city would like to lose that. In negotiations, we used the Evergreen report that the city paid for in 2022 to see where Boulder City stands with wages and benefit. The Evergreen study for positions in 2022, the mid-range was 62.17, the high range was 71.48. IBW 396 par summit wages in 2024 is 63.73. Par Summit has worked on property for the last 5 years and will be back supposedly at the new fiscal year. The union proposal wages today, March 2024, would be 61.06. That's a competitive wage in today's market. The city proposal wage today would be 56.15. Our group feels that's not a competitive wage in the market. Our current wage, as we speak in Boulder City, today is 48.41. NV Energy, who we have been compared to in the past, is 62.37. That is a $13.96 difference. That is a 6.22 an hour difference. When I came here to work, the difference was around 60 cents compared to NV Energy. I don't want to leave, but when there is a $6.22 difference, myself will leave, and my colleagues have shared the same expression. I thank you for your time and hope you consider what we all came here to talk about. Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning. My name is Jared Lindquist. I'm a journeyman lineman here for Boulder City. I got in this trade in 2008, so I'm actually the youngest one of this whole group. Did a 3.5, 4-year apprenticeship through the Cal Nevada outside apprenticeship. When I topped out, I worked on the outside for a few years and hopped over here. There was a job available and I jumped on it. Came here 10 years ago this year. When I got here, there was multiple call-outs every week to fix power problems, i.e. bad transformers, bad cable, broken poles, broken cross arms, among other issues. In these last 10 years, we have increased the reliability to the electric grid of the city and don't have near the problems we did before. There's still lots of work to do, but for a group for our size, has done an amazing job with no injuries, as Damon stated before, considering this is the 3rd most dangerous job in the United States. Other cities with similar population sizes have double the workforce we have. Our shop worked with a skeleton crew before many of us got here and continue to work with less than that. We lost a lineman over a year ago who became frustrated with the wage difference back then. He moved on. His replacement recently quit because he was uncomfortable about the daily issues we run into out here in the field and the trouble we see on a daily basis. Also, he wasn't inexperienced, but he also quit. The city has purchased the equipment to do the heavy work, and when I say heavy work, I'm talking more than a couple people, a whole group, which right now there's 5 linemen. So a lot of times when you're doing a pole change out or something big, it's all 5. So we can't get pulled away from anything else. You know, if there's another trouble call, it really binds us up. But with being understaffed, it's tough to complete big jobs with a limited amount of help. The equipment and men we have already, we just need more qualified hands. With the wage that was proposed, we don't see any way that will attract future quality electrical workers in the city. If you want to attract quality linemen and electric hands, you have to have a competitive hourly rate in the ballpark of other surrounding areas, i.e. Nevada Energy, outside construction, even Valley Electric. Everyone's $60 or greater, just to name a few. In closing, most of us know people who would come here, but the wage has to be right to get them and retain them. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Hi. Thank you, council. Thank you, city staff. My name is Brandon Fruth. I am currently the electrician for the city of Boulder City with the title Electric Maintenance Technician. I have been in the electrical industry for 28 years. I turned out of an IBW apprenticeship in 2003. My position for the city wears many hats of many different levels. Duties may include maintenance of all city buildings, parks, golf courses, sewage lift stations, and wastewater treatment plant. This entails maintaining, troubleshooting, and repairing problems. I typically deal with switchgear, transfer switches, motor control centers, panels, pumps, motors, EV chargers, all the way down to receptacles and lights. I'm the only electrician for the city. I maintain all the stock of materials and keep the city running through ordering, purchasing, and procuring equipment. My typical day may include planning jobs, overseeing contractors, scheduling work, and coordinating with other departments. Events are an important part of our city. With the events, I attend all the pre-event meetings, coordinate with power needs, set up the power for the events, tear down at the end of the event. With such a small electric shop, I often help other disciplines, such as the linemen, the metermen, and the substations, as the other disciplines help me as well. With all the experience in the shop and the extensive safety and training and the proper use of the equipment, we've had no lost time accidents
and everybody has gone home to their families at night. I feel we are justified for what we're asking. Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning, Council. My name is Greg Cholko, and I'm currently employed as a substation maintenance technician for the City of Boulder City. As mentioned by my coworkers, the electrical department here at Boulder City has an abundance of experience and knowledge, as they've all mentioned, from which this city and residents have greatly benefited. Out of this department, the City of Boulder City has only 2 journeyman substation technicians. Between coworker Vaughn Robinson and myself, the city benefits from 53 years of experience in the substation department. Personally, including my short time here at Boulder City, I have 32 years of substation experience, 19 years in substation and system protection, electrician, and approximately 13 years as a manager for NV Energy's substation department. Our extensive training and practical experience provide us with the knowledge base to manage typical situations to the extreme emergency situations. Not only are we able to perform any and all substation maintenance procedures necessary for the health and operational safety of all substation equipment here at Boulder City, additionally, we also have extensive knowledge in system protection equipment, which is commonly managed and ran as a separate department in other utilities. We are both products of NV Energy's System Protection or Relay Group, and together have 12+ years of experience with that equipment also. A quick example of immediate system improvements that was displayed shortly after Vaughn came to Boulder City was the reduction in large unforced outages. Simply by observing and then implementing proper relay settings, there is now better substation coordination with downstream fusing. Unforced outages are now limited to a much smaller group of residents instead of hundreds due to an entire substation outage. Paraphrasing one of our city council members in a special agenda council meeting, it is important to compensate our valuable city employees to retain them so as not to lose them to Las Vegas, Henderson, North Las Vegas, and other utilities. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Gary Pack. I've been working for Boulder City since 13 years now. I've been a journeyman lineman since 2001, and before that an apprenticeship, and I did time at NV Energy as a groundman as well. The people here in this shop I would trust my life with. They're amazing men, and this city does not want to lose them. I just want to tell you that. And also, something to think about, NV Energy and other entities offer amazing signing bonuses and moving bonuses to people to come to work for them. That should express how needed these positions are. And I would hate to see, because I am also been a resident of Boulder City since 1996. So I love this town. And I would hate to see the town that I love lose such capable employees that keep the lights on, that get up at 3 in the morning when they don't. I'm 54 years old. I don't like getting up at 3 in the morning and going to work, okay? But I do because that's our job. That's what we're trained to do. It's not for the money. It's because that's what we do. But we should be compensated appropriately. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
They don't go up any higher, so I guess I'll have to stoop just a little bit. My name is Mark Martin. Good morning, council and city staff. I wanted to start off by saying thank you for all of your guys' time and listening to us. I know this is probably not what you want to do on an early morning, but we appreciate your time. As previously spoken by my colleagues, I think it's clear how passionate and we are about our careers and our experience. I completed an IBEW Journeyman's Meterman Certificate in 2004 and have been in the industry since 1996. I came to Boulder City in 2017, and it was right when we first started the meter change out here in the city. I was responsible for 8,800 residential meters and 2,000 commercial meters to be changed out by coordinating all the efforts of when they were going to be changed out with our secretaries, getting the mailers out to the residents, to working with our contractors that changed out the residential meters. We were in charge of making sure all of that went forward. In that 7 years that we've been employed, I've also had the opportunity to work with the streetlights. I maintain the streetlights, do the ordering, get the equipment in, and manage the work orders, and also fix them. And also, as of late, we've been involved heavily in the Night Skies project. So another project that was put into our realm. Over the past 7 years that I've been employed here, I've kept a record of errors, metering errors, that warranted having a journeyman meterman, somebody that knows about how these meters work and how they operate, and can attest to the accuracy and the validity of the meter, and that all the way back to the departments of weights and measurements. We've had a few, and I'm just going to give you a few examples to kind of see why the city of Boulder City needs this type of help. We had our first example was this SNWA plant right over here on Industrial in 95. When I first got here, that was only capturing 1/3 of the registration by the meter. So looking at the olive green cabinets and remembering my parents having that in their kitchen, I figured that was probably over 30 years ago that building was built. By doing the math, we lost really almost $8.4 million in revenue just at that place in metering errors, which now we're capturing all of that. Another error that we found when we were here is the airport. Out of the airport, Papillon Airways. I remember talking to the meter readers, and I told them, I says, look, I have every meter's been changed out in the airport except for this one over here. The meter reader told me, he says, Mark, don't worry about it. We don't read that one anyway. Well, if you did just the math, if the meter didn't roll over, that was $357,585 in an error. If it rolled over, it's substantially much, much more. The last one I'm going to share with you was a house that was built over on 8th Street, built in 1953. That house had a metering multiplier on it. It had 10 on it. It should have been 40. So if you look at the cost of that one compounding over the many years, assuming they used the same power, it would have been around $255,000 that the city missed out in lost revenue. These are just 3 examples, and we have much more, and we feel that the Boulder City needed a meterman. Since 2017, we found just these examples and a few more, totaling over $9,423,000 and $423,385, just by a rough guesstimate. I believe that there's more to correct out there and continue to work on, and help bringing the city's electrical costs better under control to be able to pay for them by having people that are using the power actually pay for it. I'm grateful for the opportunity we have to stand before you today and express our desires for what we're looking for out of this contract, and I hope you guys can see what we're saying and take that into accountability. And I thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak on public comment? Those who would like to call in, 702-589-9629. And we don't have anyone on the phone yet. Do we have any written comments at this point? And seeing no one coming forward, we will wait a minute and see if anyone calls in. We will close public comment at this time, the initial public comment, and move to our special agenda. Mr. City Manager, please.
Good morning, Mr. Mayor and council members. Teamsters Local 14, on behalf of the Electrical Bargaining Unit and the city, recently participated in non-binding fact-finding pursuant to state law. On February 1st, 2024, the city was in receipt of the fact finder's report and recommendations. Pursuant to state law, the city shall hold a public meeting to discuss the issues the parties submitted to fact-finding, which was one article, Article 33, wages, the report of findings and recommendations of the fact finder, which is included in the agenda packet, the overall fiscal impact of the findings and recommendations in which the arbitrator found the union's proposal was the most reasonable proposal, and the overall fiscal impact of the findings, which must not include a discussion of the details of the report. And that fiscal impact of the recommendations is $1,113,220 over the 3-year agreement. The city has resumed negotiations with the union and has presented an updated, extremely competitive offer and is hopeful to come to a resolution soon. There is no action requested this morning other than to receive the report. Thank you, and I stand for any questions.
I'm not going to dive into where we don't belong, but thank you. Thank you all for your comments, for being here, for continuing the negotiations, for the representatives of the bargaining unit. And if there's a shop steward that is one of the employees, could you please raise your hand? One of the guys that represents, you're our shop steward, for, okay. Okay. Remind me of your first name. You're Frank, okay. I got it down, but I had a lot of names, so thanks, Frank. Yeah, I appreciate that. And I'm continuing to pore over. I'm almost finished with reading the fact finder's report. It is important to us as council members to review the entirety of that fact finder's report and to understand what that fact finder had to say about all of the issues that were covered, the charts that were included, and the graphs and the wage differences, and et cetera. So we are not taking this lightly. This isn't the first time that we're hearing of or seeing the information. It's been on our minds as well. I want everybody to know that. Citizens, staff, you already know that, employees. And so thank you all for continuing in the journey of what is good faith bargaining. And I appreciate state law as it relates to labor management and labor relations. And we have, I think, probably one of the models in all of the country. And it helps us continue, this process as we're seeing here playing out. So thanks, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Just also being here and having the opportunity to hear public comment. Thank you for the opportunity that you gave us to be able to hear what you had to say. It's easy to read a paper and see what the findings are, but it's also nice to see the faces behind the paper and to understand who it is that has kept us in lights, especially when we have outages or different things that are happening, events. I mean, everything that you mentioned today. So I hope you know that we as a council are all citizens here and that we appreciate the service that you've given to our community and the way that you give that service, actually, and the years in that service. And I have complete confidence that we'll be able to come to an agreement that will be good for both parties. And so I look forward to the process, agree with Council Member Walton. It's important that we read this. It's important that we see this information. It's important that we understand it. And so today we are simply saying, yes, we've received and we understand and we're going forward. So thank you for coming today.
Thank you. Councilwoman Booth?
Well, I just want to say the same thing that everybody else has said, and I think everybody should be paid fairly. And I think it's important to the city council that everybody's treated fairly and equally. And just want to say I agree with what has been said on the podium so far, and I really appreciate the effort that everybody's made today to come out and speak for themselves. It really helped a lot. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you. We recognize the dependency, or I would call it a codependency, that we have with the union and with the men and women of the union and the city. We appreciate you coming out what I would call in force and being able to share your feelings with us. And so we have thus received the report from the city manager and the fact finder's recommendations. Mr. City Manager, what is the process at this point that they can understand?
Mr. Mayor, at this point, we'll continue negotiations and continue to move forward.
And as I understand it, there was a phrase that you used that the unions was the most reasonable. Did you say that actually?
The arbitrator's decision was that between the city's last offer and the arbitrator's opinion, that the union's last offer was the most reasonable of the two.
Right, appreciate it.
Yes.
Thank you. We have thus received the report. We need no action and look forward to hearing the rest of the story then.
Thank you.
And then we will move to public comment at the end. Are there any other people who would like to come up and have public comment that is not limited? It can be about anything that can be same rules apply, 5 minutes. If anyone would like to call in, 702-589-9629, or if anyone is here in the chambers, if they would like to come forward and say anything, this is public comment that is available then. And there's no written public comment come in.
No written comments submitted.
We'll wait a moment and see if anybody calls in. In that moment, if anyone still wants to say anything, they are more than welcome to come up and say something. We will wait patiently for the phone. We will close public comment, and with the close of public comment, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.